This is Ron of the Ronnie Record Show. Today I'm going to attempt to explain what teenage music was like in the 50s. The perception, of course, is that it was all rock and roll and hot cars going up and down the main street. But in reality, it was more than that. And let me try to explain that. That we listened to the radio a lot, and the radio was top 40 for the most part. And like the station I listened to was KYA in San Francisco.
Didn't you also used to listen to KFRC? Wolfman
Yeah,
Jack?
I think I'm trying to remember if that was the station in the 50s or later on with Dr. Don in the 70s.
Where was Wolfman Jack?
Oh, he's coming out of XERB in LA, and the studio, the broadcasting came out of Tijuana with about 50,000 watts, I think.
Right,
it
I
was.
know, but what years?
No, that's in the early 60s.
Okay.
So we're back to the 50s where we listen to top 40 radio for the most part. I kind of picked songs from 1957. And so it was top 40. And top 40 wasn't all rock and roll. It was a variety of songs. And a lot of them, again, were ones that my parents liked, and they were still on the top 40. So we would take a radio, AM radio, it was all AM, there was no FM, poor sound quality, we didn't care, we didn't know any better, and we take this radio up to this pool that we went to, plug it in, and we play the music all day long. I mean, a lot of the parents were going, oh, turn off that radio, turn it down, like a lot of parents do. But we'd have it on, and they would play top 40 that we accepted. Like, for example,
you tell me you love me, you say you'll be true.
Who's singing this one?
So this is
somebody new.
Andy Williams.
Crazy about you.
And there's nobody more square than Andy Williams. Okay.
Right, because I don't even know this one.
This is Butterfly. It's a copy of Charlie Gracie's song, I believe. More of a country rock guy. Not rock, but. And it was square, but that was on the radio. It was in the top 40, pretty high up. But it was on the playing on the radio. And we accepted it. Nobody said, oh, turn off that radio, because we didn't have push buttons to switch the channel. It was just music that was of that era, and that was fine. And again, a pretty saccharine kind of sugary song, but it was jaunty, so.
You're treating me mean, you're making me cry. I've made up my mind.
That's what it was. That was part of the scene in the 50s era. So, for example, here's another one that I think was very beautiful. I accepted. I remember being on a porch one afternoon with some teenagers, and somebody had a radio plugged in, and this next song came on, and it was a beautiful.
It almost sounds like Dragnet.
Like what?
Dragnet.
No. I don't think so. But you get it? It's instrumental, and it was by Jimmy Dorsey. Jimmy Dorsey.
Yeah, I like it. But I always liked that big band anyway.
Yeah, it was a big band music. Jimmy Dorsey and Tommy Dorsey, two brothers, were conductors of the big band era, 30s, 40s. But this was a great song. I remember hearing this song, never thinking, oh, turn that off, it's not rock and roll. It was just part of our scene. That's all we had. People didn't walk around with stereos and Walkmans and, their phones blasting. It was all, a lot of times it was from transistor radios that kind of looked like this or even smaller. When the transistor circuits came out, and the sound was no quality to it, but we loved it. Now, the next song could be something very opposite, like this one, right? an Elvis song would come on, and we all know Elvis, right? Elvis playing rock and roll. This is Jailhouse Rock from his big movie, Jailhouse Rock. Totally different from the first two songs, right? But it was on the radio, top 40. We loved it. We loved it all. We favored this more than, So Rare. But I think you might even call it, Karen, it'd be listening music. For So Rare with Jimmy Dorsey or...
See, I don't remember that. In the early 60s, I never referred to rock and roll. Someone go put some rock and roll on.
Right.
They never said that. It's,
No.
all right, who's got some music with them? Or,
Exactly.
What are we listening to? And then whoever had the radio,
Right.
transition radio or transistor radios, the one I had was Rectangle. And it's, just a little bit bigger than the big phones that we now carry in our pocket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Exactly. So now I'm going to transition to what I now call, it's not really, since dance music, we went to dances a lot.
So did I when I was in high school.
Right. It was high school.
It was always the high school dance.
Yeah. So after the basketball game, Karen, we would go to the cafeteria. I was at a parochial school. We didn't have a lot of students, but we had enough to fill up, the tables were gone, and we went to the cafeteria after a basketball game. I don't even know if we called them record hops, but they were dances. And we had a lot of chaperones looking at us. But now the title of the music became, there's going to be a fast song or a slow song, right?
And there was no other distinction, fast or slow. Oh, God, I just love that slow song.
No, it would just, the only reason you would request it would be, somebody might say, do you want a fast one on? They'd have a record in their hand. We didn't have concerts or people show up. We had records.
You have a record player, a little 45 record player.
Yeah.
How many would it stack up? Like 5 or 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that some kid would bring the school didn't have the records. Somebody was in charge of bringing records.
Right.
And I remember Jim Scatini, his brother Robbie was one of the people that brought in records that they put on, and he might say, do you want a fast one or a slow one? But it's always that delineation, like So first of all, usually early in the evening, there'd be a lot of fast ones, right? So you would hear songs like this, right? Jerry Lee Lewis.
Right.
Whole lot of shaking going on. I love Jerry Lee Lewis, right? This guy right there.
Point him out again.
That's Jerry Lee Lewis
Right.
with his foot on the piano.
Yeah.
You know who gave me that picture?
No.
Scott.
Really?
Yeah, my son Scott framed that picture and gave it to me.
Nice.
So this, of course, is a fast song. And what kind of dance do we do to it, Karen?
Jitterbug.
Jitterbug.
That's what you did. By the time that I was going to school dances in high school, we no longer did the jitterbug.
That's
we all
right.
danced individually.
Right.
I mean, with a partner, or it could be a group of 5 or 6 girls getting up there dancing. You never saw 5 or 6 guys getting up dancing. It was always a group of girls, or you were dancing with a guy.
In our day, I don't think you saw girls dancing together. Maybe, I don't remember that. But it was really all about, usually, did you have the courage to go ask that girl to dance?
Right.
And so especially you probably plotted that near the evening when they played the slow songs, that's when you wanted to dance with Susie Q or whoever it was, and you plot her, and hopefully nobody would go ask her to dance.
First.
Right. Exactly.
Or that she didn't leave early, or that she says no to you, or all of the above.
Yeah. So you're hoping. So usually near the end of the evening when things did slow down, and then you would put on the slow songs. And my favorite in 1959 was the people, those two guys up there,
Santos and Johnny,
played Sleepwalk.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful slow song to dance to.
See, I always remember the Righteous Brothers.
Well, yeah. It's a
Oh
different
man,
era.
yeah,
You-
everyone wanted to
Yeah.
dance to them.
You're in the 60s. So the slow song that I'm going to play, a lot of times it was a doo-wop song. Like the one I'm going to play is "Over the Mountain" by Johnny and Joe, and or it could be "Sleepwalk," or even Johnny Mathis was acceptable,
Right.
even though it wasn't that rock-a-beat or rock-a-ballad, but it was very acceptable. So we would hear things like "Over the Mountain," like this one,
Over the mountain,
Yeah.
right?
across the sea.
And didn't you always try to grab, if you went up and asked a girl to dance, didn't you always try to grab her hand and then walk her out to the floor?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big deal. And I remember, even back when I was in high school, I would go, "Are you going to take my hand?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was, I'm telling you, that was like a mile to walk over to get.
Yeah.
And that, our little cafeteria
And then-
wasn't far, but
Right.
it
But
felt
then
like a mile.
by the time that, I was out of high school and, going to the bars and stuff, if I
went to
saw,
bars?
I'll tell you, if I saw some guy that he would have been the last person that I want to dance
Right.
with, I'd get up and go to the ladies' room.
Oh, yeah.
I'd get up and move, I go, no, 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 not coming towards me. No.
It was like a walk of humiliation.
And then you see him turn around and walk away, and I felt sorry for him, but
Yeah.
some guys just don't look my type.
Well, especially if you dancing slow, you're getting too close, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think I played this pretty well, right?
Yep,
It's
you
not
did
wasn't
good.
just your image of what younger people look at, a bunch of teenage delinquents dancing fast and
Yeah.
raising hell and smoking and drinking and whatever. Some of that, of course, but this is really how it happened.
Yep.
So
Good
not
job.
all rock and roll. That was certainly a big main component. But that's it.
All right.
That's enough for the Ronnie Record Show. Please watch my shorts that I put out every day. Those are 60-second videos, so you can easily watch those.
Okay. Sounds good. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for watching the Ronnie Record Show.